On Saturday, September 13th, Hurricane Ike, the third most destructive hurricane in the history of the United States, slammed into the Texas coast at Galveston. As devastating as the storm was, Galveston and Houston escaped the hurricane's hardest punch. A storm surge farther east sent a 20-foot-high wall of water some 20 miles inland. The flooding seawater inundated half of Jefferson and Chambers counties, creating a crisis in a largely rural area that few had expected. Caught in the surge were an estimated 40,000 cattle and other livestock. Many of the animals that survived suddenly had no food or water. The salt water had ruined pastures, ponds, and creeks as it swept away homes, barns, and fences. The animals were doomed unless help came quickly. The response, called Operation No Fences, involved people from across Texas and around the country, and became one of the largest animal rescue efforts in U.S. history. Here's what happened, told by some who were there.
It started with a phone call Saturday afternoon to my direct supervisor, Dr. Fritz, and my other supervisor, regional program director, Dr. Monty Dozier, letting them know that we had a problem and it was really bad.
You can imagine it disrupted their lives in a 12-hour period. Everything they had worked for, possibly all their life, just floated away.
I've seen grown men break down and cry because of a lifetime commitment of building an agricultural livelihood has been lost in about 12 hours.
If you took a map of Chambers County, south of Fairview Road, draw a line to Oak Island, and then draw a line back down to 73 and England Road, anything south of that from Chambers and Jefferson counties has been catastrophic.
The barn's gone. The hay that was in those barns may be a mile away from where it was. Complete homes just gone. I mean, you just see where the foundation or the blocks were where the home used to stand. I mean, it just literally looked like you put a bomb in the living room and blew the house up. I mean, there's just nothing left.
It's not uncommon for us to see that the water level went anywhere from ground level as high as 18 foot in some places.
In our house, it was probably 15 foot. It came through the houses. Deep as I've ever seen it.
The place that I own south of town, I have a section of land about 10 miles southwest of Winnie, and it all went under salt water. Lost my fences.
You're out there and there's no boundaries. I mean, these cattle can basically go where they want to. The fences that are there are mostly on the ground, which allows them to go where maybe you can't horseback, at least if you think much of your horse.
We're totaling right now about 300 to 500 lost.
The dead cattle that was just laying everywhere, it's something you really don't want to ever see again.
The amount of debris that the storm surge left behind was so massive that there's cows up under it and you can't really see it because it's so much grass and debris. You can't see what you're facing.
A lot of the grazing in this part of the area has been lost due to salt content. And of course that smell that you smell, that's Gulf water.
40-acre square patch, the highest pasture I've got, is solid, 4 to 5 feet deep of this same debris that you see stacked up on the fences around here, and probably 30 or 40 dead cows in it.
AgriLife Extension is serving as the operations chief for the distribution of hay and water in the impacted zone. That impacted about, estimation, 40,000 head of cattle. We are working to bring in hay from across the state. Lots of it donated by our partners and cattle raisers out in West Texas, Central Texas, Northeast Texas, and South Texas, which we greatly appreciate.
Farmers come out and ranchers come out, and they're just trying to get the cattle fed. You know, the people that donated hay, and they come here as delivery point, we just offload it off the trucks and into the ranchers' vehicles or trailers and head them out so they can go feed the cattle.
But they've been real good about getting the hay and the water out wherever we need it. We've had a lot of volunteer supports through the fire departments to bring that fresh water, and I really think that's made the difference in changing the condition of these cattle. We're beginning to see cattle now that survived it that we're finding in better condition than we did, say, a week ago.
This is a well-oiled machine, and it's starting to get there so well that, I mean, it's hard to describe how well it's working. We're rescuing cattle, feeding cattle.
Originally, my original role was I came out here to set up the communications and entire Keon system, all that, so we could get them internet access and communications to the area. After we got all that going, being that I was an ex-county agent and kind of rancher at heart, and I just stayed and helping these guys.
Of course, you know, I'm very much a rookie at this, but the largest thing I've been associated with, and one of the largest livestock recovery efforts probably in the nation. These are operations that are involving using helicopters. These are operations involving using trucks and all kinds of manpower, all kinds of resources. And we particularly thank our federal and state partners.
We're a week ahead of where we'd be if we didn't have those helicopters.
The cowboy helicopter will actually come in and push those out of the brush to cowboys who can't get in a lot of places where these cattle are. They're so deep in the marsh and the brush that you physically can't get there horseback. But he'll get them pushed out where the cowboys can get around them, and then we'll take them from there.
Ooh, easy, sisters.
We've got some good horses and some good cowboys, and they've really done a good job about getting these cattle back.
We're getting them back together right now, piece by piece.
By the great people of Texas, we've been able to get a lot of resources donated. And
put your calves back there.
Producers are kind of common people. They understand the devastation of one another. So they've been generous about donating a lot of things and a lot of equipment in order to facilitate what we needed to do.
What do you think about this no fences effort?
I think it's great. The support and the feed, the hay, the water troughs, the cubes, the medicine, everything we've gotten has been tremendous. It'll renew your faith in friends or even just the human race, because I'm not necessarily a people person. Have not been in the past, but I'm coming around.
Yeah, put the hay down, John.
And they're beginning to see that maybe things are going to be okay. It's not going to be like it was before the hurricane, no doubt, but ranchers, agriculture people in general are tough people, and they figure out a way to make it work.
I was never more proud of the Texas agricultural industry as I was in the response of Hurricane Ike. Texas AgriLife Extension stepped up and played a major role in ensuring the needs of Texas ranchers and farmers were met in a very special way.
Our partners put a lot of folks down there, so it wasn't us alone, but I think our network of agents and specialists across the state served us well in that we could bring senior people that understood the livestock industry from other areas that were used to dealing with large groups of volunteers to man that effort.
When we put out the call for help, to see the level of responsiveness from people across the great state of Texas and across the United States that donated money, that donated resources and donated time was a very meaningful moment.
We had 4-H clubs sending us money as far as Kentucky and Tennessee. We received close to $200,000 in donations.
We had about 7,000 to 9,000 large round bales of hay that were donated. There was about 30 tons of cattle protein supplement, about 30 tons of horse supplement that was made available to those ranchers, and most of it was done with volunteer labor and volunteer efforts. Having the AgriLife extension agents on the ground working with landowners who understand what it takes to raise cattle, what it takes to pen cattle, what the medical needs are of cattle was a great resource to have to ensure that those ranchers had the kind of coordinated efforts from people who understand on a day-to-day basis what Texas ranchers really need.
Setting up the first response to maintaining the animals was a new thing for Extension. But with every catastrophe, when the cameras quit rolling and everybody's gone, there's still many years of recovery that has to take place. Teams of our specialists went in everywhere from forage to soil scientists to economists and others looking at the aftermath. We'll be working on Hurricane Ike for many years to come, like we're continuing to work with Hurricane Rita, Hurricane Dolly, wildfires. After the immediate crisis is over, the long-term economic development of the natural resources and the economic fabric of the community is really where Extension has a major responsibility, and we work very hard in those areas. If Texas Department of Agriculture, the Animal Health Commission, and those major livestock groups that we discussed had not come together, if they all were fighting turf battles, this wouldn't have happened, because we had a biological clock running on the lives of these animals. They all came together for a common goal. We used the resources of the public and private sector to save 20,000 head of animals. The process of cleaning up would have been tremendous. It would have cost the state and the federal government millions of dollars just on the indemnity for lost animals and the cleanup of lost animals for programs that are already in place. And so by stepping in effect, we saved this group of people, saved not only helped the local citizenry and the economies in that region, but saved the taxpayer millions of dollars.
We can all be proud of our state and the people that we are because of those individuals who responded in this time of crisis.